monochromatic rainbows. It's an all-new, terrific Tuesday edition of Business Pants, joined by analyst whole Matt Moscardi. Wow, what a get. On today's
Never not funny.
Fat Finger Error, called March 4th, 2025. The Good Game.
Yeah.
Wait, the Good Game? How is it even possible? What is good?
You know, well, I like that. So we haven't been able to live stream for like 2 months.
No.
Because
I got a new toilet.
You got a new bathroom. Somehow, because you need to poop in something different, we couldn't live stream.
Yeah.
So now we're back,
Anybody
and the
care?
first thing we're going to do
Yeah.
is a good game in arguably the worst news cycle we've ever seen in our lives.
Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFlowAnalytics.com, the only
love that.
platform measuring board power, connection to performance for free.
I love them.
Even if you're just an amateur like me and you're co-running a research media company and you want to talk about board members, this is the only platform I use just to articulate anything really, other than the age and stuff like that everybody has, like their gender. But if you want to articulate performance or a whole slew of other factors, go to freeflowanalytics.com. It's the only place to do it.
I'm going to do something that right now that we've never done. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to show you. So if you're watching this live stream, this is a free platform.
You're making them look at Kash Patel.
Well, that's sad. That's the sad reality of what's on the front now. But look, you go to boards. Who do you want to look at? You want to look at Microsoft? Oh, there's Microsoft. Look at that. The data's as of the end of February.
Who has the most influence at Microsoft?
Satya Nadella has the most influence.
What's his batting average?
What's his batting average is a different story. I go down here, I can see he's great on earnings. He sucks on carbon. He's middle of the road on TSR, which is hard to believe considering how valuable they are. But it means that all the other boards that he's been on, not as good. So, look, my
maybe
point
he's a
is
great
this.
CEO for Microsoft, but maybe you don't actually need him as a director on your other company.
My point is this. The data is all there, and this is free. I can actually export stuff. I can click on a company, and I can download stuff, and I can build portfolios, and
to be
I don't
clear,
know. I think it's fabulous.
The data itself, I know this is going to be mind-blowing to you, Matt, but the data itself is actually not political. It's actually just data. But if you want it to be left or right or whatever, center, I don't care, center, green, left. Although no neo-Nazis. We don't let neo-Nazis use our platform.
Do we have a screen for that? Do we have a filter for that?
Sorry, Tesla board. You're not allowed to use it.
All right, let's do some good game.
Come on.
We've not done a good game in a long time.
Here's how the good game works. I painstakingly go over all of our headlines. We're averaging about, and we're going to hopefully make some improvements to the platform down the line, but we average about I tag about 2,000 news stories now a month.
I know, it's a lot. And
so I go over periodically, and I look for the headlines that actually just seem like something good's happening. Because, and all of this came from my mom, who basically called us out for complaining and whining too much, and why don't we do ever good stories. So
I love that, her son, who she taught and creaed, she's saying that you complain too much. Isn't that her fault? Isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Spend an hour in my home with her. You'll learn it's her fault. Now, listen. We have Matt Moscardi here. He is the arbiter of truth. He's going to assign a value from 0 to 10. So 10 being good, 0 being horrible. Let's get going.
All right, let's do this thing. Let's have some intense.
In no particular order.
Start us off with this intense.
How about this? And this is maybe a difficult one right off the bat, and mostly because I really do actually want to know what you think about this. This is something a subject we don't weigh in often, but let's do it. Pfizer CEO says he's prepared to shift manufacturing to the U.S. amid tariff threats. Ooh. How about a silver lining to these horrible tariffs? I don't even know where to begin with tariffs, but we don't talk about them a lot in the context of our show. So what do you think?
Well, let's talk winners and losers on tariffs. Okay, so first of all, the tariffs in Canada and Mexico, the winner is Elon Musk and Tesla, and the loser is traditional auto companies. That's the number one.
or border states like mine, like Maine, that has more Canadian border than anything else.
Oh, no. We don't care about your economy.
Yeah.
What we care about is like industry-wide stuff, and those are the big industry winners and losers. But when it comes to like repatriating, there's some good, which is like, okay, jobs in this country, in the U.S. If you're in the U.S., that sounds good. Go get a job. Finally, good, right?
It's good if it's combined with a strong labor union force.
Oh, there you go.
That ensures that these jobs are spread evenly across the U.S. and not just like shoved into red states that absolutely destroy labor rights and have low wages. And
so
that's not a win for people.
Well, that's the pattern is not that. The pattern is repatriating jobs end up in states with the weakest labor laws
Arkansas,
and
Tennessee,
the largest,
Texas.
like the slowest growth in wages. So effectively, you're trying to absorb the cost of the tariff rather than passing the cost directly down to the customer. You make it labor's problem. So that's bad if that happens, right? So this all in all is a 5. You have to be realistic. I'm not an economist, but you have to be realistic about what the potential here is. And I think you're right that labor is a loser. In every scenario, somehow, labor is the loser.
Historically, it has been, especially under Republican administration. Yeah.
So 5.
Hey, 5's not bad. How about this one? Toyota. This is I don't know anything about this. I've never heard of this. Toyota touts race tickets, e-money, and first shareholder perks. So I've never heard of shareholder perks. So investors who have had at least 1,000 shares for 5 years or more, that seems like a pretty high obstacle, actually, a high barrier to entry, will be rewarded with credits worth about $200 for Toyota Wallet, a smartphone payment app. I mean, this just sounds. Are they grifting? Is this good? I mean, I don't really understand this. Shareholder perks. This is not dividends, but free giveaways and balloons. Maybe some of those balloon animals, like a balloon poodle, might be nice.
So the Toyota Wallet is only usable.
Yeah.
When you purchase things from Toyota.
Toyota store. This is like reminding me of the whole Henry Ford thing, right? Where he paid his workers in like Ford bucks. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but go ahead.
This feels crypto scammy to me. I mean, like, look, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
But also,
the idea being that they want to increase the amount of retail investors. I think that's the takeaway here.
If you're an investor in this, a thing that I would ask is, let's say, first of all, how many individual investors own 1,000 shares for 5 years?
That seems like a high barrier to entry, doesn't it?
Does seem like it seems like the people who would qualify for that would be employees who have stock that's vested, right? And they've been there for a long time. Because
the retail investor is the very opposite of someone who is patient enough to hold anything for even like 6 months, right?
I mean, there's day traders, and then there's like people who just buy 1,000 shares because grandma gave it to them or whatever, and then they sit on it.
One of the reasons why I added this is because I wonder, is it good for us? Because if we have more retail investors, we might get more people to catch on to this idea of like, hey, know who your board is, right?
I like that.
You get to vote. If you have 1,000 shares, you have 1,000 different votes, right, during annual meeting time.
I do wonder if you're an investor in this, if you think that this basically, doesn't this mean that you own 1,000 shares for 5 years, Toyota is going to spend money on you to pay itself. They're giving you $200 for you to spend it in Toyota.
That's good for shareholders, right?
It's good for shareholders.
I don't know.
Also, they're spending the money to do it. Isn't it just kind of like, isn't it just a way for me next year to say activity in the Toyota insurance market has been really great this year? We've seen 5,000 new users to the Toyota wallet. Doesn't it kind of do that too? I don't know. Feels weird to me. This is nothing. I don't care. Give me the orange juice and the vote. I already have the shares. Just make the shares go up, and I want to
score?
vote out your board. It's a 4.
Let me ask you this
I could not. I'm not into it
because my mind got to be racing, and as we've seen from a lot of
That's
media, from a lot of media that covers CEOs, corporations, usually the ideas start with us first, and then
it does. Yeah,
and then
we
either
talked
like,
about the WWEification,
then either a few weeks later or a few
and then a
months
week later, it's Daily
someone else
Show's
has it.
like lead story. Yeah.
But here's my question: why not do this in the U.S.? Why not have a program where you try to get like, look, I know it's going to shock you, Matt, but there are like mega fans of companies like McDonald's. I don't know about like in your area, but when I drive by McDonald's, there's one by me that has 2 drive-through lanes. They're always full. Why not entice those people to buy shares in the company and then give them shareholder perks like free, disgusting Filet-O-Fishes or something like that? Right?
I would go the other way.
Yeah,
I would
tell
say for every Filet-O-Fish you get 1 penny worth of stock.
Okay.
And then like
it.
you accrue using your McDonald's wallet. You accrue stock. What if I would be much more enticed to
I'd
buy
rather
a
eat the
car
stock
at
than the
Toyota?
Filet-O-Fish, yeah.
If every purchase of a car,
Interesting. I like
I
that
get
too.
100 shares of stock or
All
something.
right, let's see if
like,
this happens. Let's see if this happens.
Yeah, next week it'll be the big news.
Okay, let's get a wonky ESG headline in. Here's the headline from the Wall Street Journal. Don't call it ESG, call it resilience. And here's what they're saying. A new taxonomy around environmental, social, and governance is investing comes as political pressure mounts on investors. Here's why I bring up this one, Matt, because here's the question that we haven't spent a lot of time on. Are companies really getting rid of DEI? Are they really divesting from ESG, or are we just going through name changes, right? Are we going through a taxonomy change?
Both.
Okay.
So the ESG name, it's like reliving history. Like 10 years ago, we tried to talk about it as resilience. Like the word sustainability came like it was supposed to convey corporate sustainability, like the company will last into the future, right?
Yeah. It's suggesting a long-term viability. Right?
Yeah, and in order for it to do that, you need an environment in which the company, works. You need labor. You need like all the stuff.
And you need to identify risks over like the short term, over a 3-year, 5 year, and that's what ESG data is great for. Is like kind of sticking red flags and things. I mean, like maybe you should pay attention to the fact that your CEO's wife is on the board.
But the problem is the headline still like, don't call it ESG, call it resilience. Is that the name of the data? Or is that the name of a type of investing?
And also, aren't you also now alerting like Doge and all the Republican attorney generals that you should add resilience to their keyword search?
Yeah, because that's all they're doing. They're like literally searching for keywords.
Well, I did read a report that Ted Cruz was like identifying woke academic research, and they're only doing it by keyword searches. They're not actually looking at the research.
Yeah.
Just keywords.
They don't read the research when it hits a keyword. They just say the keyword got hit. Must be woke.
What do you think of this? Resilience data. Yeah, resilience.
I just think it's like, first of all, ESG has been fundamentally misunderstood.
Yeah.
Like ESG ratings, we were inside the belly of the beast, and I argued there that ESG ratings don't work because they just are taking 3 disparate data sets and cramming them together.
You don't need a rating, but the data is useful.
But the data is fabulous, and if you want to, what you really want is like to use each data set and maybe get a signal out of each one, right? Like it's not that the data or the ratings have no value; it's just that most of it is just clumped in the middle, and it doesn't say anything. There's no narrative. It doesn't tell you what you're solving for. Calling it resilience, does that really change the problem? Did we solve it? We're done.
Yes.
Like, we solved.
It's a fun word to say, resilience. It's better than, I don't like saying sustainability.
It is fun. It is better to say. I can't argue.
What do you got?
that.
Give it a score.
I'm going to give this a 5.2.
That's a lukewarm start to the good game.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, pivoting off the name, like, recapture the name. Like, call it ESG, but tell people what it actually is. It's a data set. You want less data? You want more data. ESG is more data. It is more data in 3 different flavors, right? Like,
Speaking of data, how about this next headline? And bear with me because this is really just an advertisement for the platform freeflowanalytics.com, I believe. Here's the headline: Kroger CEO Rodney McMullen resigns after ethics investigation.
ooh,
Board appoints Ronald Sargent as interim CEO. But here's the thing, Matt. If you had just gone to the freeflowanalytics.com database, you would see that, yes, the CEO, Ronald McMullen, had the most influence with 29%. Number 2 was Ronald Sargent with 21%. So the data itself would have told you who would be ready to step up, right? So this is a great advertisement.
we could not have predicted that he would resign after an ethics investigation in which they gave us no information about the ethics that he violated. Like,
I love what they say that since it had nothing to do with the company, we can't tell you. But doesn't your CEO suddenly resigning have everything to do with the company? It's, right? It's absolutely everything.
If someone does something that is so egregious and it's not while they're at the company, but they still have to fire them.
How dare they not tell us?
I think they have to say as a shareholder. But regardless of that, Ronald Sargent,
yeah,
like he used to work at Kroger.
Okay.
He's been the lead independent director, and he's been on the board for 18 years.
Yeah.
He's on 3 boards right now.
Oh, he's very busy, man.
He's a busy man to be running an ethics investigation into his long-term buddy, Rodney McMullen. And then...
Why do you say long-term buddy? Oh, he's been
there for 18 years.
18 years. Wow.
Yeah, and McMullen's been there for 20-something, 27 or something, right? Like, so, Matt, inside the company.
This is how egregious McMullen's behavior was, and which is why that absolutely Kroger owes its shareholders explanation of what happened. McMullen has been he's been there since the 70s, I believe, at Kroger. He's been COO, he's been CFO, he's been on the board, he's been CEO, he's been chair, he's done everything. So what he did must have been so bad. So I don't know how they don't tell people.
It's gonna come out, but like right now, the information we have is the board of directors was informed about concerns about his personal conduct. They launched an investigation using a third-party independent counsel to actually investigate, and his actions violated the company's ethics policy. Now, I read the ethics policy. Like, there are a few things he could have done that violate that ethics policy that have nothing to do with the company. Like, if he bribed someone for business, that has to do with the company, right? Like, that should be disclosed. He basically had to have murdered someone. Like, there's very few
getting rid of
things.
bribing. We don't care about bribing anymore, do we?
Yeah, it's true.
All right, what's your score on this one? Just as a promotion for the platform, Freeflow Analytics.
It's a 10. It's obviously a 10. You're gonna, like, that was you trying to get a 10 out of this game.
I just think it's
increase
cool.
The average.
I just think it's cool.
No.
Hey, we're the only data provider. I'm sorry. I got nothing against the fine people at MSCI and ISS. All those people. This is the only place you can go. To where data can articulate like a chain of command, power, all those things.
Yeah, that's true.
It's cool.
You do have something against ISS, though. Come on.
I do. Yeah, I do. A lot, actually. Here's the next headline. The bank's board, they're talking about a bank called Piermont Bank, which is, I don't think, a publicly traded company. I'm not entirely sure. The bank's board is 78% female, but don't credit DEI. That's the headline.
What?
Well, I'm wondering if this is in line with some of your posts I've been reading on LinkedIn, because I think what they're suggesting is that these women are there based on merit, right? These are strong performing women, right?
No, the joke of it is that they have to write a headline because the board is. All right, flip it. This bank's board is 78% white men. But don't say it's because of DEI, or don't say it's, because if it was 78% men, we'd literally not blink.
Well, let's be fair to anyone confused. And I'm talking to all the Vivek Ramaswamis of the world, because I know they listen. But DEI has been in place and currently still is in place for white men forever. Like that. that right? The DEI
yeah,
just favored
That's,
white men, so it's always DEI has always been a thing, right? It's just it's just been tilted.
I went down a really unfortunate and deep rabbit hole. I read almost every Supreme Court justice who weighed in on the Harvard affirmative action case that basically is the backstop for all of these anti-DEI legal challenges.
Yeah.
I read everything like Clarence Thomas had to say and Scalia had to say.
He has something to say? That's impressive. He doesn't usually say anything.
The fact that what they had to say, like, it's interesting because there's so much in there that's true and I agree with, or you understand, and then so much where they're purposefully ignorant. Like they're like focused so myopically on one thing in order because they ideologically do not like DEI. Like Clarence Thomas says in there that the existence of DEI and affirmative action undercuts the like people who have actually achieved something, because now people think it's because of affirmative action or because of DEI.
Okay.
That's not wrong, but he's clearly talking from a place of personal grievance.
Yeah, of course.
Like having nothing to do with the fact that for as many people as that happens for, they had an opportunity that they may not have had because white people run everything and do not, like all of the social science says, you pick people who are look like you and act like you. You're just looking for yourself everywhere because we're selfish.
Isn't that
animals.
what this headline is kind of hinting at too? They're saying don't credit DEI.
But I hate this headline because that it exists.
Yeah.
If it was 78% male, there's no headline. Like we wouldn't be saying this board is 78% male. They failed.
They're celebrating an anomaly. How many boards how many companies do we cover in the database?
I love that exists.
How many boards even achieve that figure?
It also shouldn't be a headline that we don't credit DEI. The fact that 78% there's a 78% female board doesn't have anything in my mind to do with the fact that somebody went out and said, you know what we need? A whole bunch of women, and any woman will do. Hey, Carla, you're a grocery store clerk. Would you like to come on my board? That's not the way it works. They get picked because they're really, really good at their jobs. In general, board members have merit, and women on boards in general, on average, have more
merit,
turns out.
Yeah.
Higher educations, more core knowledge of their sectors. This is just the data we have. This is like, you can read their bios. You can objectively pull out information about where they've been and what they've done.
Although Warren Buffett kind of threw a monkey wrench into that thought by saying that it doesn't matter what your credentials are. It doesn't matter where you go to school.
True.
Or just if he smells you and you smell like a winner, it's enough.
Yeah, but Charlie Munger famously said he didn't want his daughter to marry someone from Swarthmore, right? Like so I think they have an inherent bias with anybody who learned a thing.
Yeah.
Say Warren Buffett went to fucking Wharton, right? Like you went to Columbia and Wharton.
Yeah,
and he's the guy who's like,
his children went to. They did too. They went to Harvard, I believe. And they went
come
to several
on.
Ivy schools. Yeah.
Come on,
what's your score?
So I love
I
love the content, but I hate the headline. I got to give it a 2.
Oh. All right, here's a goofy one for you, Matt. Poshmark's CEO lets his Gen Z workers choose what he wears. He says it helps him immerse into the next generation's thinking. That's his name. I don't know what the hell's going on here. His name is Manish Chandra. And I want to tell you before you give me a score that Poshmark is an interesting company. Another anomaly. It's owned by a Korean internet company called Naver Corporation. Matt, Naver Corporation is one of the rare companies in our database that its influence is basically controlled. That's 43% of the influence by a woman who is not a founder nor a family member. She's just a powerful woman. She's the CEO, Soo-yeon Choi. You don't see a lot of companies like this. You just
not in Korea.
Don't.
Not in Korea, for
Matt,
sure.
To be fair, you really don't anywhere. You just don't see. Unfortunately,
yeah. I mean, but nowhere, but definitely not in Korea. Also,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. So
basically, there's nowhere on top
affect
of
your
nowhere.
scoring on this? What do you think about? What do you think about letting your workers dress the CEO as a concept? What do you like that?
I love that.
Yeah. Do you want the workers at State Street to be dressing Ron O'Hanley? Would you like that?
110%. Yes, I definitely want.
But it would be all those dorky vests they wear, like those coat vests, like Patagonia vests.
I want Ron O'Hanley to show up. Oh God, the audience loves it. I want him to show up to his next board meeting in the same exact suit that Timothée Chalamet was wearing at the Oscars, which was
he wearing? Like a
bright yellow
suit?
Mustard suit. Like the whole suit was like this.
Nice.
This pastel-y, mustardy yellow.
I like that.
But that basically only Timothée Chalamet can pull off. I want
Ron O'Hanley.
Yeah, 100%. I'm giving this a 9. I
Okay.
love it.
All right, here's the next one. I don't know what you're going to think about this one. This might take some of the fun out of the room. Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian says AI should moderate social media. Now wait. Before you boo,
I didn't boo. That's the audience.
Before you boo,
they don't like you.
Let's be fair. Nobody's moderating social media, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Because none of these companies get in trouble if anything happened. They're hiding behind Section 230, right? The 230, the law, and all the Zucks. They control the entire company. They control the voting power. They control the board.
There you go. Yeah.
So, should we let somebody try? Why not let AI give it a shot?
Okay, well, you answered your own question. Who's
developing the AI?
Developed the
Don't
AI?
Ask that question. Don't ask that question.
Because it's all the same white tech bros, right?
I wish it was the women at the Piermont Bank, the board with 78% women. I wish it was them.
I'm just saying this is a fabulous idea for when someone allows someone other than a college dropout white male in flip-flops to determine what artificial, quote, intelligence is. You realize these are people that have the intelligence and maturity of 13-year-olds.
Yeah,
and they're the ones
that stay that level, yeah.
They're telling us what artificial intelligence is. Oh, just wake me up when we get to artificial maturity. When we get to some
now we're talking about.
When Alexis Ohanian, I would agree with you if artificial intelligence actually had adult maturity. Until then, forget it. It's a 0. And that's the correct answer.
Okay. All right. First 0 of the day. How about this one? The next one. Next good game headline: from boycotts to goodbyes. That's goodbyes. BUYS. Consumers are showing support for DEI. The only problem I will say though, is that this is from the Washington Post. So they're saying that kind of a conscious consumerism. That stakeholder group is trying to fight back against DEO, including, protests at places like Target. The only problem is that the only successful activism that they cited in this Washington Post article was the collective action against companies like Bud Light, right?
Yeah.
For their can for Dylan Mulvaney, and for Target because they got for their Pride Month collection. Remember, it was conservatives that got Target to get rid of their Pride Month collection. So that's the backdrop.
Except that when you go back in history, the reason why there is a Pride Month collection at all is because of activists'
original
activism around like there were. Target was not supporting the LGBTQ plus community in the way that they thought was appropriate at the time. And so it's really, we're just cyclical activism and boycotts.
Back and forth. Yeah.
Really, the problem is the board and the management team of these companies need to say, what is 20 years from now? Who's our market? Who are we selling to? And what's the right thing to do? How do we balance all these constituencies? And then stick with it. Stop fucking flip-flopping all over the place and showing you have no spine because you gave one trans person a beer can that no one wants Bud Light forever.
Was there
you
beer
think
in that
forever?
Can? Was there beer in that can?
I just think the whole thing is so overplayed and ridiculous. So I'm sort of out. I know they're showing support for DEI, and I know they were showing support for anti-DEI, and I know they were showing support for DEI before, some version of it. I'm tired of it. Vote your proxies, not your consumer dollars.
This is what I was going to ask you: is that do you think there will at least be some trend of investors voting against directors this year because they flip flopped on DEI?
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I went out and I bought 1 share of Target.
Yeah.
I bought
Did it come with a Target bucks, or did it come with like a free sponge or something? Or
I got a free leg wax from Target with it.
Oh, okay.
I will tell you this: the way that I'm boycotting Target is I bought 1 share. I'm going to vote against every director on this board.
Is that the board with the double flip flopper, Dimitri Stockton?
Dimitri Stockton's on this board, and I'm considering whether or not I can put in an exempt solicitation where I write up exactly why I'm voting against them with data and evidence, and let them know that this is an anti-DEI vote. That's the way to protest. Don't protest by not going to the store. A lot of people don't have the option. Buy a share for $100. You're going to spend the $100 on frappuccinos anyway. Buy a share for $100 and then vote against the board.
One of my headlines.
So I'm a 3 on this.
Oh, this is a terrible week. How about this one? I think we'll see. I'm not going to lead you. The headline I picked was Tesla owners now disgusted by Elon Musk. But let me give you a few more because I'm just getting a slew of these, and I just wanted to dump them somewhere. Tesla's worst month since 2022 coincided with Elon Musk's first full month in the White House. Demonstrators flocked to Tesla showrooms to protest against Musk. Tesla for sale. Buyer's remorse sinks in for Tesla. I'm selling my Nazi mobile. Tesla investors concerned Elon Musk is causing huge sales drops. So there's just a lot.
Okay,
there's a lot of
But this is the same story as the last one.
Go ahead.
I feel good about it.
Yeah.
But also, we re-elected Kimball Musk and James Murdoch to the board last year.
That was last year. Yeah.
We reapproved Elon Musk's.
Matt, I hate to break it to you, they're not going to be up for election this year because they have a horrible,
classified board.
Classified board where all directors are not up for election every year.
Where are the adults in the room? It should not take
Robin
people
Denholm,
protesting outside of a Tesla when you have a board chair whose job it is to say, you, Elon Musk, you didn't even found this company. You are fucking killing it. Like it's your personal piggy bank right now. This is where you get your money from so that you can pay for all the other things that you're doing. You used AI and like robots as basically corrupt bribes of investors. I will take AI and robots somewhere else if you do not give me my money. It's insane what they let this person get away with. There's no accountability for Elon Musk. And he's not. When you look at the history, did you know that Tesla had the most car recalls of any car company in 2024? More than any other car company. In the last 8 years, they've sold 7 million units of Teslas. They have recalled 17 million units of Tesla. That means they are recalling the cars that they sell at a double rate of the amount they sell them. Most of those are just software fixes, but the real numbers are, this is a guy that we love to say is like fabulous at everything he does because he built some stuff. He said he was going to Mars on 4 different years and hasn't gone to Mars once.
We've stopped even reporting on that one because it was just too much.
It's pure insanity. It's pure insanity. So, great. Yeah. Tesla owners, you want to stop Elon Musk? You could not buy the car. That's easy. It's easy to not buy a car.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't buy a car every single day.
I was going to say, I've been doing it daily for several years. Yeah.
I mean, I'm really good at it now.
Now, listen, Matt, we cover all the time that you will see a pattern with especially small cap companies where when the stock price is atrocious, investors will vote against directors. They'll come out en masse and they'll hammer directors, right? Now, Matt, Tesla's stock price is already down more than $200 since December, almost half since December. Will investors act the way they normally do and hammer the directors? I mean, What does it take? What does it take?
Well,
at
that's the
Tesla?
problem. It's the same problem as at Target. If you have a problem with this, you need to vote your shares. You're not buying a car every day. You need to stop electing these people. Stop approving stuff. I know the cult of Elon is strong, but institutional
$200.
investors,
Not $200.
the retail cohort here does not own the majority. Institutional investors do. Most retail does not vote at all. Vote your fucking shares like an adult.
What's your score?
Analyze this board and vote them out. It's
on, give me a
very,
score.
very simple.
What's your score?
This is. I want it to be high, but it's another 2.
What? I'm so confused. You're not in a good mood
Because they're
today.
not doing the thing they need to do, which is, are we in this situation if someone had held Elon Musk accountable 7 years ago?
Well,
He-
they listened
no
to us
other-
for years. We were
zero
way ahead
other
of this curve,
executives.
way ahead of the curve on this. one.
Zero other executives have ever been giving like a tens of billions of dollars of compensation, even for moonshot prizes, because it's absurd.
This
it's
is
totally
why
absurd.
you should listen to this show, Matt, because most of the world jumped on the anti-Elon Musk bandwagon after he took over Twitter. But we've been on this bandwagon for just
What we are is,
decades.
I'm not anti Elon Musk. I'm anti no accountability. I want accountability for executives, and it's not there.
That's
we
funny, 'cause
saw it in
I'm
the data.
just plainly
it's
anti
not
Elon
there.
Musk. That's just all I am. All right, let's move on. Let's do a couple quickly. Citigroup mistakenly credited a customer account with $81 trillion.
Love it.
Come on,
Love
that's
it.
good, right? 81
Yes, that's a
trillion,
10.
I love that. I would
That's a
love that.
10. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. And apparently, that I read in Matt Levine's Money Stuff that it was because the backup system,
Yeah.
the default setting, gives 15 zeros that you have to delete.
What?
No, that's not a joke. The default setting at 15 zeros. So his joke was like, someone in the back end was like, what's the default amount of money that we want to be able to transfer on this backup system? Oh, I know, 1 quadrillion.
Wait,
like,
I'm okay. I don't understand.
it's a 10. It's a 10. It's fabulous.
Let's go quickly on this next one, and let's just. I want you to think. I want you to open your mind a little bit here. I want you to think about how great it is about that you can make a spoon. Okay, that you can have a spoon anywhere you go.
I have
want
no
you to
idea
think
what
about.
you're talking about.
I don't want to
Where are we
think
going?
anything negative here. I want you to stay in the spirit of the good game. Here's the headline. There are enough microplastics in your brain to make an entire spoon.
Wow.
Now, Matt, think about hiking.
Oh, wait.
Think about camping. Don't think about anything negative. Yeah.
Wait, you said make, not fill, right? Make a
Yes,
spoon?
you can make the whole spoon. I'm thinking the receptacle part,
Oh.
the stem. The
I
whole
love
spoon.
that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it when the like flowery rhetoric of a headline like takes it to the next level. Not fill a spoon, make one. That headline's a 10. That is
Right,
really,
especially
I'm
for
with
hikers
you.
and- yeah,
I get
exactly.
it. I'm with you. Yeah.
All right, here's a boring one to bring you down. Number of ESG labeled funds drops 20% in wake
No.
of ESMA guidelines, according to MSCI.
That's not bad. That's great. That means they're all fucking frauds.
you like
See,
this
they've-
one.
Like,
Yeah, what do you
weed
got?
out the frauds, baby. That's another 10.
All right,
Oh, you're on a
moving
roll
on.
now.
Here's the question: did they nail this headline? And they're stealing our joke here. We've been doing this joke for years, but here's the headline. Clearly, listeners of the show: HP CEO pay for 2024. That's HP. They make what? Printers, computers.
Computer parts.
The CEO pay for 2024 equals 261,658 toner cartridges. Did they get that? Did they get it right? I mean, here's my. Forget the tone of the headline. Look, you can either vote on the tone of the headline, which I appreciate because they're stealing our thunder, but Matt, do people know how much toner cartridges cost? I just,
No, that's
is
the
that a
problem
relatable
with that one.
concept?
It's not a
I don't-
real like.
Because
How
at
many
first
people
I was
like
thrilled,
print
but
stuff?
I'm like, what the hell is a toner cartridge? Is that the ink? Is that the what is that? I don't even know.
How many people print anymore? Also, if
Who's
you're gonna
buying
do that,
Yeah.
go the next level and give me the toner cartridge to toner cartridge ratio, the CEO pay ratio, but in toner cartridges.
Man, and I had to dig down like 8 paragraphs in the article just to figure out A, the kind of toner cartridge, and B, the costs of the toner cartridge. I didn't know. I just didn't know. But they're getting somewhere, right?
I like
in spirit.
Look,
in spirit.
kudos. Yeah, kudos for the spirit. 7. That's a 7.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, guys, if you want to like make these headlines really work, reach out to us. We'll
let us help you. You needed help on that
toner cartridge. Okay. You teased Frappuccinos, so the next headline is Starbucks is removing these 13 menu items from its menu next week. I'm going to go quickly on this, so pay attention, Matt. I want to know how good it is that Starbucks is removing these 13 menu items. Here we go. Espresso Frappuccino, Cafe Vanilla Frappuccino, Java Chip Frappuccino, White Chocolate Mocha Frappuccino, Chai Cream Frappuccino, Caramel Ribbon Crunch Creme Frappuccino, Double Chocolatey Trip Creme Frappuccino, Chocolate Cookie Crumble Creme Frappuccino, White Chocolate Creme Frappuccino, White Hot Chocolate, Royal English Breakfast Latte, Iced Matcha Lemonade, and finally the Honey Almond Milk Flat White. All goodbye.
Wow. Let me just say, I did look this up. The Double Chocolatey Chip Cream Frappuccino.
Say that again.
Double Chocolatey Chip.
Double. Yeah.
Double cream Frappuccino.
I just love that it's a double.
The Frappuccinos
First of all, this is kind of like the toner cartridge headline. Starbucks, we don't know what's in a regular chocolate chip creme Frappuccino. So what are you doubling? What's X? What's Y? We don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Over 600 calories in each of these. This isn't a joke. This is according to the nutrition information.
600 calories.
90 grams of sugar per drink.
That's when like a third of my day's calories. Yeah, it's incredible.
The 90 grams of sugar is the equivalent of 13 Pillsbury chocolate chip cookies. You have one of those, you might as well have eaten an entire roll of Pillsbury chocolate chip cookies by yourself.
Here's how much of a neurotic nerd I am. I recently had an offer for one of these free drinks at Starbucks, and I did what you did, and I looked up the caloric content and the nutrition, and I said no. I was like, I don't. When am I gonna? Why do I want to digest like all that sugar? What am I doing with this?
It's so bad.
Yeah.
I would also say I did this comparison. It didn't work as well. It's the equivalent of drinking 7 toner cartridges of ink.
All right. I like that.
This is a 10. Get rid of all of them. Hey, what do you need more than just like a coffee and a latte?
As some of our long-term listeners, I hope they know that Starbucks is my favorite corporate governance company. I love everything about it. Everything from Melody Hobson to the fact that each directors list their favorite drinks. I'm going to have to look back now to see if any of these directors listed any of these horrible-sounding drinks. I don't think they did.
A good point. Yes, absolutely a great point.
And finally, for the good game of March 4th, 2025, a headline that we giggled about yesterday because of this one quote that I pulled out of the article. This comes from Bloomberg. Here's the headline. State Street shelves board diversity goals amid DEI backlash. But Matt, I don't want you to focus on the headline. I want you to focus on this quote, because if this is true, then we're all in good shape. This is good news. Here's the quote from State Street. Here's the quote from the geniuses at State Street. Quote, "We believe," this is why they're not going to vote against anyone, I guess. "We believe nominating committees are best placed to determining the most effective board composition."
Wow.
Mic drop.
Well, okay.
And how many committees do we cover, Matt? How many in our database? But 9,000, you said?
Remind me.
That's roughly 27,000 nominating committee members. They're all doing their jobs perfectly well.
Remind me how we measure believe.
Well,
Remind me
it's
part.
about a vibe shift. And there is a big vibe shift going on at State Street that I'll talk about a little later. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so here's some fast data on this. Because I have
so you're saying it's possible that all of the nominating committees are not the ones best placed at determining the effective board composition?
I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to measure your belief system. On average, where a nominating committee has at least one person of color or one woman, one diverse person on a nominating committee. Yes. And the reason why they dropped this is because they were voting against nominating committees where the board did not have 30% women or more, right? So now they're saying the boards are best positioned. Where the nominating committee has at least one person of color or one woman, the board, 35% of the board, according to Free Flow Analytics data, has merit. They have leadership experience, economic interest, performance, they have connections, or they have core knowledge of the industry. Versus when there are no diverse candidates on the nominating committee, 26% of the board has merit. Meaning, when you actually pay attention to the makeup of a nominating committee, they are better at choosing merited directors, when the way we were doing it was resulting in boards with more merit. In fact, there is a 72% positive correlation between nominating committees with more merit on them and more merit on the board writ large.
Interesting.
So the makeup of the nominating committee matters a lot, which is why when you say we're going to leave this in the hands of the nominating committee, you better have chosen the right nominating committees to do this.
I will say,
State
Street does have one woman on the board. And this is her full title, Dame Amelia Chilcott Fawcett, DBE CVO. Dame Amelia. You don't see a lot
who
of
has
dames.
Been there for 19 years.
Yes, she's not even the chair of that committee, but so State Street does have a woman. So. Maybe they have more merit.
We've also seen that when CEOs are the chair of the nominating committee, they tend to elect other CEOs. What is the percentage of white male CEOs versus people of color or female CEOs? The percentage is 90% white male CEOs. That's what you see in the real world. So the natural biases are, if you do not police this, white male CEOs choose white male CEOs to put on boards. That's what happens.
Here's a couple of interesting takeaways I found from this as well. I want to add to what your data is really singing here, Matt. It's really special. You have some. I hope you post that on LinkedIn. Now listen. First of all, it was only 8 years ago. Here's a quote from State Street. Overnight on the eve of internet. This is State Street saying this. This is their press release, not mine. Overnight, on the eve of International Women's Day 2017, we placed Fearless Girl, it's a statue, in New York's financial district to ignite a conversation about the importance of gender diversity in corporate leadership. Matt, I can officially declare that conversation is over. It's done.
It's now Fearless White Male, baby.
Yeah,
all day long.
And let me add one other interesting tidbit about the nominating committee at State Street itself, which might give you some insight into why they say that nominating committees know what's best, right? Because I looked at the influence. This is data you can only get at freeflowanalytics.com. I looked at the influence of the committee members, the nominating committee members at State Street. Now, the top influence on the board is CEO Ron O'Hanley. He has 27% influence. The next three highest influence all come from the nominating committee at State Street, meaning that combined with the CEO and the nominating committee, you have 67% of all board influence, which means, does that surprise you that this powerful right, this powerful subset of the board is saying, hey, we're king.
We're real good.
Right? So
we got it.
So, yeah. So congratulations, State Street.
Nicely
what's
done.
What's your score on this? I'll quickly give you the scores before we wrap. What's your score on that headline?
That is a 10 for irony.
Yeah.
That's an ironic 10.
A good game for March 4th. The total score, your average is, a 6. A 6.
Yeah, baby. It's feeling
That's
good.
That's pretty high for Matt.
That's Hazelnut Rollins. I'm your analyst, Matt Mascari. We are Free Float. What are we? Free Float. Come back. Later in the week, we got a double header on Friday. We're going to wrap up the week, and we're going to do a proxy countdown. Check that out. But until then, goodbye. I got to jump on this call.
Later.
Phil. Apologies. Sorry.